Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and yes, as I teased in the last review, of course continuing on reviewing the Marvel films, and now we're back reviewing the X-Men films, and, yeah, the failed attempt of starting a new X-Men film series, pretty much, and that being, of course, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah. So, especially because, after the last X-Men film, at the time, Last Stand, it was hard to tell, what the next X-Men film was gonna be. But I think that's when, maybe just, 1 or 2 years later, Fox announced that a new series of X-Men films would begin, and that being origin stories. I think, yeah, aside from there being an origin story of Wolverine, they had plans for, say, an origin story of Cyclops, slash Scott Summers, Eric slash Magneto. Now that would have been great if it did happen. An X-Men origin story of Magneto. Because I guess from what I heard about that, we would have had a young actor play a young Eric slash Magneto, and then a little bit later into the film, I don't know, maybe say around Act 2, and especially throughout Act 3, we would get Sir Ian McKellen. So that would have been great, but when X-Men Origins Wolverine happened, it bombed, and it basically killed it. This killed it on the first try, pretty much. And honestly, what I think of X-Men Origins Wolverine, I remember we got the DVD and Blu-ray of this. I remember we watched it. I can't remember if my parents thought it was decent. Maybe my dad thought it was okay. I don't know, say, my mom. For me, even as of now, even as I record this, I did give it another watch just in case, and because I was reviewing this, I don't think it's that bad. I won't deny the fact that it's not that good. I can understand the fact, and hey, what should have been the most easiest Wolverine film to do, this could have been so easy to make, and yet they screwed it up? That's ridiculous, this is Wolverine we're talking about, and the fact that a solo Wolverine movie with none other than Hugh Jackman. Come on, guys, In fact, I do remember this. In fact, I remember, my dad, telling me about this. He read the articles and such that at one point, this movie was pirated, and Fox, basically, they went nuts over that. They panicked, and they slammed the door shut on that film for a little while. Yeah, so I remember that, at least, so... Alright, but with all that being said, the story of X-Men Origins Wolverine. The early years of James Logan, or as he's also called, Jimmy, featuring his rival... Why am I having trouble saying that word? Rivalry? Okay. I know how to say that word, but I don't know why I can't say it. I'm sorry. With his brother, Victor Creed, the Sabretooth, his service in the Special Forces team, X-Weapon, and his experimentation into a metal-lined mutant, Wolverine. Yeah, so... Well, basically, because, the way that this movie opens, we get a young, Logan, of course. And, of course, a young Creed, and I can't remember, I want to say probably so, if I'm correct, in the comics of X-Men, probably, say, it was, back and forth, Wolverine and Sabretooth being brothers, because, especially with their interaction and them fighting in the first X-Men film, from 2000, which we'll get to in a little bit, Yeah, so young Logan, a young Victor, Victor Creed, because a young Victor played by Michael James Olsen, and, wait, who was, I think it was, oh, James, okay, played by Troy Sivan, yeah. And then apparently, like, supposedly, Jimmy, well, that being, of course, James, his supposedly father, John Howlett, played by Peter O'Brien, and, because, in the opening, because we see a young James Logan, like, he's sick, and apparently, like, something's going on out from Logan's room, and, I take she's the... Is she supposed to be the mother? I suppose. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, she's supposed to be, but played by Alice Parkinson. I feel like I've seen her before, like probably have, and that's when, of course, like we see. Oh crap! Like, yeah, Thomas Logan, played by Aaron Jeffrey. He's Wolverine's father. Of course, Logan didn't realize that even after killing him, believing that, Thomas killed, Logan's father, but that wasn't his father. Thomas is his father. And another thing is that, gosh, even the mother, like, she's like, what are you? Because this is where Logan gets his claws. But the thing is, we're all familiar with the steel claws. When he gets the claws for the first time, it's the bone claws. I'm not a fan of the... I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of the bone claws. I'm more into the steel claws because they're much more suitable for Wolverine. I'm not saying that I hate the bone claws, When they're necessary for them to appear, okay, that's fine. But I'm just saying I'm more into the steel claws. But of course he does get the steel claws very later on in the movie. But that's when, like, Logan is running away, and of course his brother joining, and, his brother's saying, we're brothers, Jimmy, and, brothers take care of each other, and they just keep running, and, I think the audience should at least admit that, that we do get a pretty awesome opening credits, sequence where Logan and Victor, they're fighting in every single war, which is really cool. I think from, like, say, the wars from the 1800s to the Vietnam, that's really cool. And Victor Creed / Saber-Tooth Tiger being played by Levi Schreiber. Levi was a pretty good choice for playing a young Victor Creed / Saber-Tooth. I think, yeah, he fitted the role like a glove, and, his, like, he could pull off some scary faces, and as Saber-Tooth with the growl and the claws, oh, man, and, yeah, and his personality, yeah, because Levi was a pretty good Saber-Tooth / Victor Creed. And, of course, like, gosh, even at that point, like, in the later years of the war, like, Victor becomes very savage and so on, and Logan trying to stop his brother. But that's when, of course, they're being held, in prison, and because of what they were doing. Stryker, we get the appearance of Stryker, played by Danny Hudson. He's a young Stryker in this, of course. I think, if I recall, Brian Cox was hoping and eager to play Stryker once again, but that never happened. It would have been nice for Brian Cox. This is Brian Cox we're talking about. He's a great actor, and he was good as Stryker in X-Men 2. Well, I should say X2, X-Men United. He was so good as Stryker in that. Why didn't they get him back? I mean, aside from Hugh Jackman, they also brought back who I'm going to mention very near the end of this review, of my review of the movie. But that's when Stryker, brings them in, and he puts them on a team that has a buttload of other, characters that are in this movie. And that being Chris Bradley, played by Dominic Monaghan. I'm having trouble pronouncing his last name. You know who. And then, yeah, because he was from the Lord of the Rings films, and he appeared in Episode 9 of Star Wars. Then there was also Fred Dukes. Oh, wait a minute. He doesn't show up a little bit later. Sorry. There was John Rath, played by William. Yeah, I think I got that right, because the way his name is spelled, like, there's 2 dots. Everybody remembers him from the Black Eyed Peas. And then we get the debut of Wade Wilson, played by the one and only Ryan Reynolds. This was Ryan Reynolds', well, there's no doubt about it, this was his debut as Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool. For years, Ryan Reynolds had been wanting to play as Deadpool and to try and make a perfect Deadpool on the big screen. You know what I'm saying? In film. And you know what? Years later, when the Deadpool films happened, he succeeded. So good for him. Well, and especially because we all know what would come before the Deadpool films, and after this, Green Lantern. I had to say it, it's true. At that point, because, during, say, a mission they're taking, Logan is just not too comfortable with this, and he ditches the group, and, 6 years later, he seems to have a perfect normal life, and has a love interest, of course, Kayla, Silver Fox, played by Lynn Collins, and, he's like a construction worker, I guess, chopping trees and so on, but that's when, Victor, Creed, and Stryker, they're on Logan's tail. And, God, talk about, Victor being a loyal and great brother to Logan, you know what I mean? Because this was when they were kids, and he said that brothers look after each other. But watching the film again, of course, what he does, he says that again near the end of the movie, which of course I'm going to get to. Because, again, Stryker and Victor, they're on Logan's tail, and, even say when, a little bit later on, even at one point, Victor, he kills Chris Bradley. Chris Bradley's powers, he's able to control everything that's electric and so on. If he were to, flickering the lights, or making a choo-choo train run, or a wind-up toy working as well, that's his power. And John Rath, his power is say, teleporting from here to there, so that's what he does. I honestly felt that Dominic and William, their characters, I'm sure they're fine, and maybe they could have done a lot better for their for the characters they played. So, well, at one point it seems like that this is what we think at first, that Victor killed Logan's love interest, Kayla, and now Logan's just after his brother for revenge and so on. And eventually he does get help from, say, John Rath, and, even say, if I do recall, because I think before he meets up with John Rath again, Logan does meet with Stryker, and, that's where, of course, and just we get a little bit of it in the X-Men films, where Logan, he gets his claws turned into steel, and he escapes, he's butt naked, and he, stumbles upon this farm, and, I believe, this farm couple, Travis and Heather Hudson, the Hudsons, played by Max Collin and Julia Blake, they take him in, and, they help him out, and it is kind of funny, when Logan is, and I should say Wolverine, he is, getting a look at his new claws, and he accidentally, breaks part of the sink and a pipe, those, heaters in, bathrooms, and, yeah, it's funny and sweet of what Logan says to them, I swear I'll pay for this. So, anyways, but that's when, Logan, Travis gives Logan a motorbike that's in the barn, but at one point, a sniper, and I almost forgot to mention him, Agent Zero, played by Daniel Henney? Is that how you say his name? I guess. He kills the two farm couples. He kills Travis and Heather, and of course, the helicopter coming in and blowing up the barn. Logan, of course, survives, because he's Wolverine, and taking on the chopper, and of course, defeating Agent Zero. And oh my gosh, especially because, Logan had a point that they killed innocent people, and Agent Zero, he goes on saying, they, innocent people just, happen to die when you're around, like whatever he said. And I remember when I watched this before, like, say, like, doing my review, I was like, wrong choice of words, and oh, he got what he deserved. Like, Logan, like, lighted a match or something, I guess, that had to do with his claws, and making its way to the chopper, boom, it explodes. That I will admit that's an epic shot. Well, especially because of the bit of dialogue that happened. And then, of course, eventually, yeah, and this is where, yeah, Logan does get help from John Rath, and we get the appearance of Fred Dukes, aka the Blob. The Blob makes his debut in live action. Kevin Durand, that's his name. I think, yeah, he seemed to be okay as the Blob. I'm sure, like, he could have done a lot better. And yeah, also, this is where we get the appearance of a young Scott Summers. Now, this young Scott Summers being played by Tim Peacock. I think that sounds about right, yeah. He's got the shades, of course. And, of course, Victor Creed coming into class when he's put on detention. Victor coming in and capturing Scott. And, of course, Stryker, of course, being there as well. Even, like, Stryker kind of lying. Yeah, I would say so to Logan. And even say when, Stryker, he killed a general because the general was about to shut him down. So, and that's when, of course, Logan gets more help when John takes Logan to meet with Remy LeBeau. Now, I don't think he was that bad. Taylor Kitsch? Is that how you say his last name? I'm pretty sure. I think he would have. I'm sure that he could have done a lot better. I'm just saying. I mean, I think he almost fitted the look and the role okay. I mean, I know a little of Remy LeBeau because he's very, like, skillful, like, with his mutant powers with, like, say, cards and, like, batons. Basically, he's got a top hat. So, like, he's like a magician kind of mutant, I guess you could say. So, I think, yeah, that's another thing, too, because, as I was saying, like, I think a lot of people were complaining about Remy's betrayal, and, he wasn't that good in this movie. But as I just said, he could have been a lot better. I think, yeah, there's, like, a feud, like, that Remy has with Logan, but, of course, eventually Remy does help Logan get to the island. And, yeah, I even say, unfortunately, John does not make it. He is killed by Victor when, as again, John has the ability to teleport, but Victor managed to grab a hold of John inside of him, grabbing his spleen, basically killing him. Ugh, that's brutal. Poor John. Of course, eventually, okay, so of course Logan and Remy, they get to the island, and that's when Logan confronts Stryker, we see out of nowhere Kayla. Apparently Kayla is still alive. Like, she was kind of involved in this. I think she was forced upon, because this has to do with, say, the fact that she has a sister, and we don't get that much of her sister, fortunately. Well, and the thing is, yeah, both Kayla and her sister, they're both mutants. Kayla's power is the ability to tell people what to do. It's almost like, say, how Kilgrave from Jessica Jones, he kind of has that same power too. Telling them to do this and that, So for Kayla's sister, Emma, played by Tanya Maganis, I think so, yeah. Her power is like being a silver shield, you know what I'm saying? Like, become silver and, not get hit by bullets. So I think that's a good example there. And basically, we find out that Wade Wilson, because he is named Deadpool. Stryker does call him Deadpool, but the thing is, he's Project X11, I want to say. Weapon, like, wait a minute. I gotta look that up. So, yeah, again, that's another thing too. Like, okay, as I know that I was kind of saying this, that a lot of people were disappointed in like Wade Wilson's appearance. I don't blame them. Okay, at Weapon 11, yeah, it says that's okay. So that's what it is, Weapon 11. So I was right. Yeah, and like basically like a Weapon 11, aka Wade Wilson has been built up to this like unstoppable mutant, like having the same kind of powers as Wolverine, like a sword coming out of his knuckles, or like say when like getting wounded or something, he can heal fast, and even has laser vision like Cyclops. That's crazy. And even like say Logan jokingly, and funny moment, so Stryker finally got you to shut up because he has no mouth now, and because obviously Wade Wilson was a big mouth, talker, and talking about his blades at one point, yeah. Even like say Victor, like of course, like those fighting sequences between Victor and Logan were pretty good. Even say when Logan of course does help Kayla free all the mutants and Kayla's sister. They all escape. Logan confronting Wade Wilson, aka Weapon 11. Even say a little bit later, Victor out of nowhere helps Logan. And yeah, what Victor said, nobody kills my brother except me. That's however he said it. And of course, you got Sabretooth and Wolverine fighting off against Wade Wilson, Deadpool, although, he's Weapon 11, as he's called. And Kayla, she basically stays behind, and, well, we don't get that much, sister relationship, with her and Emma. Yeah, and Emma and Scott, they help get the mutants out of there. Even at one point, you hear a faint voice speaking directly to Scott, turn left, and who could that be? Well, in just a few minutes, so again, like pretty cool action, like fighting between Logan, Sabretooth, and Wade Wilson, up to when Wolverine, even like he said this earlier, he went for Wade's head, but that kind of caused a destruction of a power plant, because of the laser eyes. And then at one point, well, and after Victor and Wolverine, they go their separate ways, we do get a cameo, another mutant appearance, I should say, of Professor Charles Xavier, Patrick Stewart, of course, or should I say Sir Patrick Stewart. They aged him up a little bit, just like, say, how they did in X-Men Last Stand, although I guess it does look a little bit bad. And, oh gosh, after watching Nostalgia Critic's review of this film, I can't stop thinking of it. Well, hi there, Mr. Clean. Mighty glad to know ya. Thank you. Doesn't he almost look like Mr. Clean? Young Charles Xavier? I guess. But yeah. But yeah, Charles Xavier coming in to save the mutants, and, Charles and Scott, talking, mind to mind, and, Charles, you're safe now. Come, we have to go. And them all hopping into the chopper, basically. Even say Remy, who does show up again, he helps out Logan in finding the mutants, and he sees that they're getting into the chopper. But that's when Stryker, he's not done yet with Logan. He shoots him even when Kayla was helping Logan. And, well, actually no, because Kayla and Logan, I don't think they say, I think they probably do, like they do say they're, yeah. Well, yeah, Logan helps out Kayla because she's wounded, like he's carrying her, but that's when Stryker comes in, shoots him, and yeah, he gets a bullet to the head, and basically Stryker, what he did was wiping Logan's memory entirely. And even say Kayla, defeated Stryker in her way by, telling her to drop the gun and, just walk. And even if his feet start to bleed. And Kayla, unfortunately, dies because of her wounds. That's unfortunate. We'll even say when Logan wakes up, he has no memory of what happened even, like, say, from childhood, and, to everything that was going on in the movie, basically. Even, when Remy, finds Logan, and Logan, of course, doesn't know who Remy is. And it's so sad, too, that he doesn't know who Kayla is. The woman that he loved so much. And Kayla loved Logan, too. Just, yeah, even, like, when she was forced to be part of this plan, by Stryker and Victor. Yeah, it's just very sad. And yeah, and just, that's kind of like how the movie ends, like, in a way, I guess Logan saying goodbye to Kayla, like closing her eyes, because, when she died, like, her eyes were open. Yeah. And fire trucks coming in, and, the camera pans up and goes into the sky, and, we get two end credit scenes. One is where Stryker he's still walking, even on the road, and he is arrested by, soldiers because, of him murdering the general. And then the last end credit scene, we get a tease, basically, of Deadpool, because Wade is alive, of course, and his, he wakes up and, his detached arm in his hand touching his head. Yeah, that's how the movie ends, because with that, some of the other characters that were in this, like, oh man, like, I'm trying to remember, because, like, there was a doctor, I don't seem to see her, but, that's okay, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. So, oh well. But with all that being said, yeah, again, Dr. Carol Frost, played by Asher Ketty. Yeah, I think I've seen her before in other stuff, but yeah. So yeah, what about you guys? Because, I'm sure there'll be some people that think this movie is okay, but there are those that just, yeah, don't like it. But I'm one of those people that actually does like it. I can enjoy watching this film. I think it's okay. I think it's fun to watch this film. You get my point. And I don't think it's that bad, as I said, and as I've been explaining. And okay, because I won't deny it and I won't lie, because since I thought this was pretty good, I'll give this a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 stars for X-Men Origins Wolverine. And yeah, what did you guys think of this film? What did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review a like, as always. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of X-Men Origins Wolverine. More reviews coming your way. They're gonna be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And stay tuned later this week, of course, reviewing, the rest of the Marvel films, and, jumping back to the MCU. I'll go ahead and say it. Wakanda forever! Yeah, so, yep, stay tuned for that. And until First Class, take care. Peace out. X-Men Unite.